Ladies and gentlemen, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. While season 3 of Warzone and Black Ops 6 is still really just getting started, it's not going to be too long before we have our next major seasonal update for each title. And this, of course, is going to be Season 3 Reloaded, the mid-season update for this season, which, much like the launch of Season 3, is going to be coming packed full of content and gameplay updates. And today, I wanted to preview essentially everything that we know between multiplayer, zombies, Warzone, and then all of the global content that spans all modes that we have confirmed and detailed so far, because already, even though we're still a few weeks out from this update actually launching, we've got a ton of information to break down. So initially here, as far as timing goes and as to when Season 3 Reloaded should be happening, we don't have a 100% officially confirmed date, but just based off of all the context clues, the usual timings for these things, the mid-season update usually falls about a month after the launch of the original seasonal launch, and with the events that we have listed for the first half of the season coming to a close on May 1st, it seems like that's honestly a very likely date for Season 3 Reloaded to launch. If not May 1st, then I'd have to imagine a week later on May 8th. Typically, the major updates always go live on Wednesdays or Thursdays, and that just lines up really well with the, like I said, expiry dates on some of the events that we have, like the Black Ops tribute event and whatnot, and just that month out period from the launch of Season 3 obviously lining up pretty close to that. So that's the time frame I would look out for now. Obviously, as we get any official confirmations there, I'll keep you guys updated in some future videos, so stay tuned for that. But let's dive into some mode by mode content and updates that have been revealed for the mid-season update for Season 3. Starting first in multiplayer, and by the way, I'll have timestamps down below so you can easily switch to whatever section you're interested in hearing, or you can stick around for all the details and be loaded with all the information we've got. But with multiplayer here, first up, we do have a couple of new maps launching with Season 3 Reloaded, the first of which is going to be called Haven. This is going to be a brand new 6v6 map that is medium-sized. This actually takes place in a KGB safe house. Looks pretty interesting. I imagine it's going to be a pretty standard 6v6 map, all things considered. And then we also have Signal coming in mid-season, and this is going to be a 6v6 and a 2v2 map, and this is going to be a small size map, so very chaotic for face-off gunfight, and then of course the standard 6v6 playlist as well. And this actually takes everyone back to 1968 is when this map takes place, so we are actually time jumping in multiplayer, which is kind of interesting. And then in addition to that, we also have Blaze Town coming, which is just a reskinned version of Nuketown set for the 420 event, presumably there's a lot going on with that, as we'll discuss throughout this video. We also have a new mode update, piggybacking off that last topic quite nicely, called Joint Operations, set to be with that whole 420 update and event, I'd imagine. They say, leave the enemy up in smoke in this LTM that tests teams with a gauntlet of 5 core variants in a single match. TDM, Domination, Hardpoint, HVT, and Kill Confirmed, all cycling through these different modes and rule sets with changing effects, including double health, low gravity, visual hallucinations, and a third-person POV. So this is going to be a very, very chaotic multiplayer mode for sure, but at the same time, also sounds pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, being able to run around with like low gravity could be pretty interesting to see how that actually plays out. Almost a jetpack era like LTM there in a sense. And then lastly, for the multiplayer specific content, we also have a brand new perk coming known as Vendetta, and this allows you to, on respawn, mark your killer's last known position for a short duration. You get a bonus score for eliminating that enemy. The Vigilance perk is countered by Vendetta, so kind of just gives you a full-on like wall hack for one individual player, whoever killed you in your last life, so you can sort of go all in for revenge there if you want. I imagine this is going to get a lot of players pretty frustrated when they're on like a 10-15 kill streak and someone uses this perk and then hunts them down, but nonetheless, that'll be available for Season 3 Reloaded as well. Now, for the zombies content in our mid-season update, honestly, it's not as crazy here as it is for multiplayer and Warzone. Most of the zombie stuff for Season 3 did obviously happen at launch with our brand new map Shattered Veil and everything going on there. However, in the mid-season update, they say, whet your appetite with these Zombie Snacks limited time mode arriving later in season, and put a chill on the undead using the Frost Blast field upgrade. So Frost Blast, pretty self-explanatory. Zombie Snacks as an LTM, again, I'd have to imagine is going to tether into the 420 event with everything going on there with like the cross mode stuff that they have going on. Maybe it'll have specific challenges for it, and obviously it's going to be a tweak on normal gameplay. There will be some kind of gameplay adjustments meant specifically for that LTM, but as of right now, they didn't really detail anything with that, unlike the other modes that we've got coming across multiplayer and Warzone. And speaking of Warzone, that's now the segue into this. And as we do go through all the details with all the mid-season updates coming here, then all the global content as well, if you enjoy the video, you find the information helpful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you are new to the channel, or maybe you have not subscribed yet, we should change that. Every single day, I got you covered with all things going on in Call of Duty, whether it's news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns. It's all right here, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But first up, for the Warzone specific updates with the mid-season patch, we are going to see the reintroduction of high value loot zones, where essentially when you first load into a match, certain areas will be marked as high value loot. You can drop there, and obviously the loot is going to be better, right? This is going to create some interesting drop scenarios where maybe a place like Quarry or Hills that typically is not a very hot drop is going to be much hotter, and way more players are going to be dropping there because they want to get that better loot off spawn and just jump right into the chaos there off the rip, instead of maybe going somewhere like Superstore or Downtown or Hospital, which typically are the much hotter drops. We're also going to see the portable decontamination station re-added back into the game. We've seen this a few times in Warzone's history. Just allows you to plop that down in the gas and get a slight safety bubble for a limited amount of time. Honestly, is going to be super clutch for some of these end zones that are a little bit chaotic, maybe where there's less cover. You could use that as like a little safety option there, a safety net as mentioned, for a little while until that expires, and you can formulate a game plan based off of that a little bit more. Definitely adds in a cool like skill gap, I guess, for late game scenarios and gas plays that otherwise simply wouldn't exist. We're also going to see the full-on bunker buster added into all modes. It was initially there, I think, in Plunder at the start, but they disabled it super quick at the very start of the season because there were some bugs going on there. But it'll be fully re-implemented when the Season 3 Reloaded update drops, and you'll be able to have that across all modes, yet again, not just limited to outside of Battle Royale. A pretty big update coming with Warzone Season 3 Reloaded is, of course, ranked play. This is going to be taking place on Verdansk for the first time ever. Obviously, if you played Warzone 1, the closest thing we ever got to this was like Titanium Trials and Iron Trials, which I gotta say were incredibly fun LTMs, but those were like considered the ranked equivalent back then, and obviously there was nothing going on in those matches that actually deemed it ranked. It was just like a higher skill gap mode because of the increased health. But now, full-on Battle Royale ranked play trios will be taking place on Verdansk, and I, for one, am very much so looking forward to that. We also have another new mode update happening with the mid-season update known as High Trip Resurgence, they're calling it. So they say expect mid-season to bring additional modes to Verdansk, including the LTM High Trip with massive resurgence potential, a special narrator on the comms, and gameplay boost to leave your enemies in a pile of ash. So this sounds like it's going to be Verdansk Resurgence just tuned up a little bit to be even crazier with some high trip mode variants there. So definitely interesting getting some more details on that as we do approach the full-on Season 3 Reloaded update. We're also getting a few other gameplay based updates with Season 3 Reloaded for Warzone. The Specialist perk package is going to be returning, and I, for one, am very excited for that to come back. I feel like Specialist on Verdansk is going to go absolutely crazy. Being able to have every single perk in the game could be insanely beneficial and insanely powerful, specifically for Verdansk here. So that's going to be huge. The big game bounty contract is also going to be returning as well. So just higher tier rewards there for doing that bounty instead of just the standard one. And then lastly, for the Warzone specific updates, the mid-season patch is also going to be changing around Verdansk quite a bit. Not only are we going to gain access to even more ascenders, but also several POIs are getting updates with the mid-season updates. So the train station interior is going to become fully accessible. Obviously, right now we can't jump through any of the windows or get into the inside of the central train station building. That's going to be changing with Season 3 Reloaded. The original moving train is also going to be returning, so the train will be going around the map. There will be a recon contract that spawns on that train, so you can do that. Plenty of loot on that as well, and of course, it can run you over if you do not look both ways before crossing the tracks, so that's going to add in another level of chaos, another thing to experience on the map. And then they also talk about redacted interior access, and this can probably lead to one of two things. Either this is going to be referencing the bunkers with all the access there, since those are obviously turned off at the time that I'm recording this video, and we know that a bunker update is coming, or this is going to be for the stadium. This was leaked a while ago from the Ghost of Hope saying that the stadium interior was going to be accessible, but obviously time will tell with this one. They've been very secretive about this. And then to close things out, we shift over to the global content. So this is going to be available across multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone alike. First up here, a couple of new weapon updates expected for mid-season. We are going to see the Ladra SMG. This is actually inspired by the Spectre from Black Ops 1. Full auto SMG with an extreme rate of fire, great range, and low recoil. This thing, just based off that description alone, has the potential to be absolutely crazy. Then we are going to see a new aftermarket part update with Season 3 Reloaded for the Goblin MK2, and it's going to be a mini rocket conversion. A fully auto rocket launcher for the Goblin MK2. I don't even know what to expect with this thing. It's either going to do absolutely no damage at all, or it's going to be the most broken, just busted, overpowered thing that we've ever seen, and no in between. Time is going to tell there as well, but I've got my eye on that one for sure. And then lastly, here we do have a couple of new events that they've sort of ambiguously detailed for mid-season. They say, look for more events and rewards throughout Season 3, including the Blaze of Glory event. That's probably going to be the 420 event. Then also the Call of Duty Endowment Got Your 6 event. Expect more event coverage in the Season 3 Reloaded announcement. So in the coming days, we should see a full-on Season 3 Reloaded blog post. I'd have to imagine if Season 3 Reloaded is dropping around the 1st of May, that'll be coming the week of the 21st. So maybe like the 23rd or the 24th, we end up getting that blog. Obviously, once we get any new details, any new announcements or reveals for this update or any other updates going on in COD, this is the place to be to stay up to date with all of that stuff. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know each and every single day. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.